Hi, I'm Andy Savage. Welcome to Man and His Meeple. 18 Holes is a strategy golf game by Ryan Boucher. It's currently in Kickstarter and it's already funded and due to end on the 8th of April. It plays 1 to 4 players and covers a load of variants over a highly customizable course. The rulebook already contains 10 course setups and instructions to create your own. Today, we're going to be looking at Solo Chaos Golf Mode, where you tee off against 3 AI players racing to beat them to the high score holes. Unlike standard golf, you don't have to play the holes in order or even stick to the fairway. Anywhere on the course is fair game, and you can even play from one green to another to score. The first player to a hole wins 5 points, and the second gets 2. In Solo Chaos, each AI player reveals which hole they are aiming for, and then they take a set amount of turns to get there. In the meantime, you play your shots in exactly the same way as the multiplayer games, scoring as you go. And on the set turn, you award the score tokens to the AIs if they've played their shots. I should note that this is a demo version provided by Ryan, and as such, the rules, graphics, and other contents may be subject to change before delivery. This course is the Royal Yay, a medium difficulty course, and we have the AI turn cards at a default difficulty setting, and I'll explain that in a bit. So let's play and see how it works out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the solo setup. This course is the Royal Yay, an 18-hole course, and each hole is marked with the orange counter and the number on top, the flag number on top. These are the actual score tokens that you're playing for. So the larger markers are worth 5, the smaller markers are worth 2. And the first person to a hole gets 5 points, and the second person to that hole gets 2 points. You have a set of clubs here, 5 clubs, and in this version I've just picked these. This is a set of 5 clubs that I've picked, but I know Ryan might be working on a draft variant for clubs. You have a marker just to mark. I'm using a marker just to mark which club I'm using, and when you've used a club, you just flip it over. When you've used all 5 of your clubs, you can move and flip them back to their face up, or you can spend a turn to flip the clubs back. You start here on the tee for hole 1, but you don't have to play hole 1. You can play for hole 6, or you can just wander off course and go for 17 or 18 if that's what you fancy. As with the standard game that you might have seen, when you play a shot, you nominate which card you're going to use, and you pick a club strength on that card. So if you're going to play this 6 iron and play a 3 shot, you're aiming to go 3 spaces. You take a card from the 3 pile, turn it over, and it tells you which way your shot is going to go. There are other cards, some surprises in these decks. There's shorts, which means your shot goes short and you take a card from the deck previous. There are super hits, which means your shot goes long, so you discard this card and take one from the next deck up. And there are shuffle cards, which means you just obviously shuffle the discard pile back into the deck and draw again. The AIs in the Solo Chaos have got 6 tokens each, which each one designates a hole that they're going to go for in turn. So we'll turn those over. We can reveal the top one of those. So the yellow player is going for hole 8, which is here. And the blue player is going for hole 6, which is here, just behind me. And the Tarzan player is going for hole 1, which is the same hole I'm going for, or the same hole that I'm teed up for. These are the AI round cards, and on the default difficulty, as I was saying, these mean that the AI is going to take a shot pretty much on average every other turn. Sometimes they might take 2 in a row, sometimes they might take 2 shots to get there. But you've got 6, they've got 6 green shots or 6 hole shots over 6 cards, and the 4 in the corner denotes the difficulty. So if you add these all together, you get 24, and you can add in different cards to make it harder or easier depending on the challenge that you want from the course. So having revealed the holes that the players are going for, we reveal the first card here, which shows that they're going for a shot straight away. So on this first round, the AIs are all going to take a score counter from the hole they're going for. So this player here is going for hole 1, and that's a hole that's right in front of me. So I might try and play that one too, for instance. So if I took my 5-iron and took 3 strength cards, this card allows me to take 2 cards of power 3 and pick one, then that might allow me to get to hole 1 just fine. But I'm then contesting that hole with this player. And as you can see here, we have an initiative on these cards, and my initiative for this card would be 21, which is pretty high. And we'd flip over the top card of this deck, and their initiative was 18, which is lower than ours. So they would win that hole. They would get the 5 points, we would get the 3 points. The 2 points. I'm just going to shuffle that back in. So the question for me on this first round of the game is, am I going to try and contest this number 1 hole against this player here, or am I just going to maybe come back and go for this number 6 or the number 7? Now this course, there's quite a lot of holes over on this side, on the west side of the course, so I'd kind of like to play up this side, I think, try and grab some of these early on. Because obviously if I can get these, then it means the AI players are only going to be picking up the 2-point scores. If I can get there first and get the 5-point scores. What I might do here is play my 2-iron on a 4 strength, on a 4 power card. Because if I go 1, 2, 3 and I get a hook, it's going to go to the left and land me on number 2, hole 2 here. If I get a slice, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and end up, I'm going to hit these trees and fall back onto the green of hole 1, which would get me that. And the initiative on this 2-iron is really low. It's 5, probably one of the lowest in the games. So I might be able to beat that player. The third option for when you draw a card is a straight on, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to land me on the green here, on the fairway. As we saw with these cards, this one allows you to pick either the shot to the left or the shot to the right, not the shot straight on though. And the orange hex is where it's going to end up. And you can see below the orange hexes, there's these grass symbols. And if you play from the rough, that's where your ball is going to end up. You end up hitting with less power. So it's always good to try and be on the fairway if possible. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to play this 2-iron. I'm going to take a 4 power shot, and see where I end up with that. So that's fallen to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and then it would have hit this square, but there's a hazard on it would hit this hex, but there's a hazard on this hex. It's trees and it's outlined with a fence, and if you hit that sort of hazard, you fall back onto the hex that it came from. And when I'm talking about hexes, I'm not talking about the big hex. I'm talking about on each one of these, there are a number of smaller hexes that are really quite difficult to pick up on the camera, unfortunately. But you're going to have to take my word for it. So I've fallen back onto hole 1, which is the same hole that this player was going for. So I've taken my shot. Let's see where these guys go. So number 8 is uncontested. So we don't have to flip a card for the players on these holes, on this hole, because it's not a contested hole. We don't need to take initiative into account. So we're going to take that and give the 5 points to that player. Now the blue player is going for hole 6, which is this one here. It takes that 5 points. And this player is going for hole 1, which is the same one we're on. So we're contesting hole 1. We need to see who got there first by comparing initiative. And they have got 23. I did shuffle that, honest. So we've got 5 versus their 23. We got there first. So we're going to take that 5-point marker, and they're going to take the 2-point marker. And let's put us back on there. Okay. So that was the first turn. Then this turn marker moves on to the second turn, and the white circle simply means that they're just moving around the course. They're not actually going to take any points this round. They're not actually taking a shot on the hole this time. So it's effectively a free turn for us, if you like. Now we can score on those off turns, which is where we need to pick up extra points in order to try and beat these. Now, we've got a few holes within. Let's flip this one because we used that card. Now we would have a few holes within hittable distance. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get that 3. 1, 2, 3. We could get this 10. Before we do that, actually, we need to flip these counters to see where the AI are going next. So yellow is going for 3 next, which is there. Blue is going for 14, which is there. And Tarzan Meeple is going for 2, which is there, right next to us. Now another shot that we can make, instead of actually using a club for power, is you can just nominate a club and use it to move one hex, one of these small hexes on the board. So we could nominate this one, which is I'm going to take because it's our next lowest initiative at 9, and just move one hex onto that hole there. And that is in fact what I'm going to do. Actually, we don't need to worry about initiative because they're not playing a shot this turn. This is like a free shot for me. So I can use any of my clubs, safe in the knowledge that I'm not going to be contesting this hole. So I'm going to use my lob wedge, which has got my highest initiative of 26, because I'm not going to be playing a chip shot in the immediate future, I don't think. Chip shots are for getting over these fenced tree areas or other hazards. So I'm going to pick this one, and I have another chip shot here if I need it anyway. So yes, just use any club just to move one hex like that. So we'll flip the lob wedge and we'll take our 5 points for hole number 2. So then we've finished this card. So we'll move that to the discard pile, flip the next one. And as you can see on this card, I've got another free go before the AI play the hole on turn 4. So where could I go for now? Well, hole 10 is 1, 2, 3. And with a slice, a play to the right on it. And if I get the straight 3, I could always play through to this T. Now, if you end up on a T, you can effectively have a free turn. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that what you want to do is to have a contingency if the card you draw goes in the way you're not planning. So this way, if I take a 3 and go 1, 2 with a right, I can get hole number 10. If I get a straight on, I can end up on this T and have another go. And if I go to the left, then I'm not really covered. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I can come to 1, 2, 3. I can come to this one, hole 3. So whichever way I play the 3 shot, either straight, left, or right, I can end up either on a T or on the hole itself. So that's a good shot, I think. Now the question is, do I use my 5-iron or my 6-iron to get there? The 5-iron allows me to draw 2 3 cards and play 1, whichever one I fancy. The 6-iron allows me to just take 1 3 card. Now the only trouble would be if I got an underpowered shot or a super shot. And additionally, I think because I've got a lot of contingency, I'm going to use the 6-iron on this one. So I'm just going to take 1 power 3 card, and it's a short, wouldn't you know it? So now discard this card and draw a new card from the 2 deck. So I'm only going to be going 2 spaces this turn. So there's my plan shot straight away. And it's a straight. So I can move 2 spaces in a straight direction. So if I go here, luckily, 1, 2, there's another T there within 2 spaces. So still within this turn, I can have another go, but I can only use the cards I have left. So I can get to the 10 either with a hook or a slice. Where am I going to go if I get straight? I can't come back to this hole because I've already got the 5-point marker for hole number 2, so I can't come back to here. But I think that's pretty much the only choice we've got at the moment. So let's use the 9 iron for a power 2 shot, and it's a super hit. So we're back on the 3s again. Discard and draw a card from the 3 deck. And that's a super hit. Discard and draw a card from the 4 deck. I did shuffle these. This is quite mad. Discard and draw a card from the 5 deck. So I've gone for a little power 2 shot, and I've ended up hitting it halfway across the course. And it's a left. It's going to veer left. So let's see where we can end up on a 5 power shot veering left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can't neither of those. We can go down and get this 2-point here on the 8, but that's not ideal. We're trying to maximize our points. 2, 3, 4. If it was it is left. It is left. So we can get this 18. Now, are we contesting? We're not contesting the 18 because we're still on this free shot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got that 18. That was nice. So we were here and we were aiming for this hole, and we've actually managed to whack it all the way over there and get the 18 instead. You're getting some idea why it's called Chaos Golf. So on to turn 4, and this turn the AI are going to be playing these holes respectively 3, 14 and 2. And we get to pick so that club is used. We've only got one choice of club left, and that's our 5 iron, which is a very high initiative, but it is very versatile. It allows us to pick 2 3-power cards. Now, it would be useful, we could go for 1, 2, 3 or this one, except these trees are in the way, so we'd need to play a chip shot, and chip shots are only ever 2 spaces. So we're not going to get back to hole 10. But we can play for hole 12. So let's do that. We'll nominate 5 iron. We're going to take 2 3-power cards and hope one of them is dead straight. So we could either shuffle, or we've got exactly what we wanted, the straight. So we can go 1, 2, 3 back to the 12. So because that's none of the AIs are going for that, we can take that. Just make sure that goes back on there. And they're taking hole number 3 and hole number 14 and hole number 2. Now he, unfortunately for him, only gets 2 points. So player 3 there is lagging behind quite substantially. We've got 20. The other 2 AIs have got 10 apiece, and poor player number 3. Oh, I can't see it. Slightly off the screen there. Poor player number 3 only has 4 points. Let's move the points there so we can see them easier. There we go. Okay, so a couple more things to reveal now. Where are the AI players going next? That's hole 11, hole 10, and hole 15. And what card are we playing next? that way around. So we have another free turn. Now there are, I happen to know in this deck, there are 3 like this and 3 like this. So we're going to have a little spate in a minute, I suspect, where the AI are getting 2 holes in a row and we're going to fall slightly behind. So we've used all our clubs now, so we can refresh them all. So we have all our clubs back at our disposal again. And a free a turn where the AI aren't taking a hole. So there's a nice obvious shot on now where we just use any club and go for this hole 13, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm just surveying the board to see what it sets us up for next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a possible shot on for the 16th hole. 3, 4, 5, and similarly, oh no, that's from where we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there isn't a shot on for 15 as well. From there, we'll take the 13 anyway. And I think again we're going to use the lob wedge because there's not a lot of hazards that we need to chip over here. So let's use our lob wedge. We're using that, sacrificing it because it's got a high initiative of 26. Just move there. And because the AI aren't taking a turn, we're going to take that. And move on to this. And this is the turn that the AI are taking a hole. So let's just cover again where they're going. 11 for player 1, yellow. 10 for player 2, blue. And 15 for player 3, which is Tarzan. I keep saying Tarzan, you probably can't see why. It's because it's the meeple from, it's a Tarzan meeple from Meeple Circus. Because that's what I had to hand. So we've used the lob wedge. I should have used all the different circus meeples. We can go back for hole 10 on a 1, 2, 3, 4 straight. But like I said, you want to kind of mitigate the bad shots as well if possible. Did we take 18? Let's go flip these over, see. Yeah, we took 18, didn't we? So we can't go for 18. It's 2.18. I was just thinking on a 4 shot, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 on a straight and 1, 2, 3, 4 on a hook, covering 2 of the possibilities. Tempted to come down and go for this 16, although he's going for, I was going to say there's a little group down here that we haven't picked up yet. But he's going to take 15 this turn. So maybe we should play a 4 power shot, come back down here, try and get this 10. If we get the slice, we're going to bounce off these trees and end up on the green for another shot. And if we get the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to end up on the rough. But then we can use a 1 space turn to get onto the 10 anyway. So let's go for a 4. Okay, so we're going to use the 2 iron to take a 4 power shot, and it's short. So discard this card and draw a new card from the 3 pile. So that's a straight. So we can go 3 spaces in a straight line, which just happens to get us onto this tee. 1, 2, 3. And of course, like I said, when you get onto the 3, you can take a free turn. But first, when it's a turn where the AI are taking a hole, you resolve their turns first, and then you go back and take your free shot. So let's award these players their. I forgot he was going for 10. So he gets 11. Blue gets 10, and he gets there before us. And Tarzan gets hole 15, so he gets some 5 points at last. He's warming up, obviously. Now, for our free turn, I can use any club to move the 1 space onto the 10, which is okay at this point. We've got a lot more points stored up than the other players, than the AIs. It doesn't really set us up for another go. We can chip over these trees to get to number 11, perhaps. What would be ideal then would be to try and get down for 16, for 9 maybe. But we wouldn't have a big enough club. We've only got 2s and 3s left at that point. And besides, it's a tricky shot from the 10 hole. So there's no direct line of hexes over. The alternative would be to play a big shot over to the 16, but again, we've only got 2s and 3s now. Okay, so you can nominate to take a big hit, which is where you draw 2 cards of the next level up, and in a multiplayer game, you'd let an opponent pick. In the solo, you just take one at random. So that would allow us with a 3 power to take something from the 4, but that still wouldn't get us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd still need to get 5 to get over to the 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, from the 10. I still think I'm going to play the 10 hole anyway. But which club are we going to use to get there? Let's use the 6 iron. So we're just going to go there and pick up the 2 points for hole 10. Okay. So that was the end of that turn. The AI are going for hole 9, hole 12, and hole 5. And the next round, they are going to score straight away on this round. So what I am thinking now is I might use my 9 iron with a 2 power card to try and get onto one of these 2 tees here for an extra turn, and then use 3 to try and get over to 16. 1, 2, 3 with a 5 iron. So let's try that. A 2 power shot. We'd want a straight. We've got a slice. We're going to the right. So that's 1, 2. So we're finished on that tee, which would get us an extra shot after the AI have scored. So they're going to take 9, and they're going to take 12, and they're going to take 5. There was a rich bounty of unplayed holes down there. So Tarzan's making a bit of a comeback. Now we've got a second turn. That club's used. All we've got left is our 5 iron with our 3 power shot. And versatile as it is, there is nothing within 3 that we can get to. So where are we going to play to? There's a lot of water over here. If you end up in the water, you essentially miss a turn, but then you miss a turn. You'd normally lay your meeple down. I know mine's lying down already, but you'd lay the meeple down, then on your next turn stand him up, and then on your next turn you play as if you're playing from the rough. I still think we're going to play towards number 16, I think. So let's draw our 2. We're going to play over there. Let's draw our 2 3 power cards and see what we've got. So left, or basically left or right, but not straight. So where are we going to go? With 3, we can go 1, 2, 3 onto this fairway. 1, 2, 3 into the rough that way. But we are next to the 16 if we're on that rough. So then on the next turn, which is a free turn, we can play for the 16. So let's go there. We're going to go left. 1, 2, 3. We get to refresh all our clubs because we've used them all. Reveal where the AI are going for on their second to last round. Hole number 4, which is there. Hole number 18, which is up there. And hole number 7, which is there. Off we go. And so we can use any of these clubs to get onto the 16. And once we're on the 16, there's a lot of little, I know they're only low scoring, but they're two space shots. So I kind of like to keep my lob wedge and my 9-iron because those are the 2 clubs. Well, actually the 6-iron allows me to take 2 space shots as well. So let's use the 5-iron to get to that hole this time, which means we take the 5 points and we flip the 5-iron. Okay, now the AI is scoring on this round. So we can get to the points with a left turning card with a hook or straight. We can get to 14 or 15, 14, or we can get to 3 as well. So whichever way our 2-point hit goes, we can get onto a hole and score 2 points. Just checking, is there a playable route up to hole 17 from there? Not easily. So let's, are we contesting any of these holes? No. So let's use the 9-iron to take a 2-point card and hope it's not a super. It's a shuffle. So we took the shuffle out and we're going to shuffle these cards back in. It's to the left. So we can either take hole number 3 or we can take hole number 14, but we can't take hole number 15. Now I think we're going to take 14 and then for the last kind of turn try and make a play up to 17. Now we know one of the AI is going to be contesting us for that, so but let's see how we do. I've noticed there is a playable turn up to the tee and then 17 is playable from the tee for 14. Anyway, right, so 1, 2, so we're there. The AI score. The player 1 takes that 5 points for hole number 4. Player 2 takes the 2 points for hole 18. And player 3 takes 5 points for hole 7. And we take 2 points for hole 14. Okay. So now onto this free turn, and we'll see where the AI are playing for their final turn. So player 1 is playing for 13, is there. Player 2 is playing for 17, so that's the player we have to beat to 17, if that's where we're going. And player 3 is playing for 16, which is right here. Now player 2 isn't really a competitor. It's player 1 that is the worry. But he's only playing for 2 points on this turn, so we've got him beat anyway. But let's play for the game. Let's go up, try and get hole 17. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to need a 3-point shot, and the only club we've got left with a 3-power shot is the 6-iron. So we're going to use the 6-iron for a 3-power shot, and it's going out to the right. Now, do we have any alternatives for a 3-point shot going to the right? We can end up on the green for 17, but we're only going to be playing for a we might get an extra shot. It depends what's on here. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an extra free shot. But all we've got left is the 2-iron that's going to give us a 4 or 5 point 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be too strong. If we end up in the rough there, that's too powerful as well. Although we can then use the lob wedge, perhaps, to get us onto hole 17. It's a bit risky, but let's try that. Okay, so this 3 points, 1, 2, 3. We're in the rough there. We'll flip that 6-iron. And the last turn card is indeed a free turn to us first. So let's use the lob wedge. And this is a special wedge. It allows us, normally when you take a chip shot, you have to specify the direction you're going to go on before you take the shot. Now we've got this lob wedge, which is a special wedge, which means we don't have to nominate a direction before taking the shot. So we're just going to take our first chip card of the game. And it's the one we don't want. We wanted a straight, and we've got a choice of left or right. So let's go right. So we're on the fairway at least. And then the last shot of the game, we're going to use the 2-iron to take the 1 point, the 1 space step onto hole 17. So scoring, the yellow player number 1 gets hole 13. So there's that for 2 points. The blue player number 2 gets 17. That's the one we're contesting. So let's go for this one first, and they get hole number 16 for 2 points. Now we're contesting this one against the blue player, so let's see what their initiative for the shot is. This is a card that didn't come out right from the printer, but that's got an initiative of 11 on it, and our card's got an initiative of 5. So we're there first, so we get the 5 points, and player 2 gets the 2 points. And that's the end of the game on the Royal Yay. So totting up the points, we've done quite well there. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 34. No, 39. Can't even count. So 39 points we've got, and the AI player 1 has got 27. Player 2 has got 21, and player 3 has got 21. So we won there quite well. So next time, I mean, obviously in golf, you've got the concept of a handicap, which you could apply here, but Ryan's adopted to take it to go in a clever direction with this whole deck of round cards. So as I said, we've got 6 cards with a score of 4 in the corner, which means this is a 24 point, which is difficulty deck, which is the standard difficulty. Now we can make it even easier by putting cards like this in, which means the AI get more off goes where they're not doing anything, so the score goes down. This way, if we replace the 4 with this, the score for the deck would be 22, which is easier. And likewise, this one gets more off turns. And this one is really easy. You just add that. You'd have to add that rather than substitute, because you've always got to have at least six flags in. So you get more difficulty. So here's one that's harder than a 4. You might add this one, which gives them 2 holes in a row, or this one that gives them 2 holes and no free turns. So if we substituted that, obviously we've got more than 6 cards there, 6 flags there now. But it still works. It just introduces a factor of uncertainty, and this one would make it really hard. They'd score three consecutive holes. So if we were to play this again and we wanted to make it a bit harder, maybe we'd add a 6 instead of the 4, and then play that through and see how the scores went. Or maybe we'd just jump straight up and add the 10 instead of a 4. Making that's then a 30-point deck. So if we shuffle that up, as long as that 10 is not on the bottom, so there, you'd have them scoring on round 1, not on round 2, and then they'd score on rounds 3, 4, and 5 consecutively, which would make that a lot harder, as you can see. So that's 18 holes solo chaos mode. As you can see, it's a fun solo mode. The scores can be tight, so you have to weigh up going for your own holes or contesting the same holes as the AI and risk just picking up 2 points. Of course, if you're able to get to the AI's targets on their off go, then you're laughing, but you need to have an eye on the next play too. You can't afford to deplete all the obvious targets or waste too many shots. Staying out of hazards is essential, and good club management is an important strategy. So definitely check out Ryan's Kickstarter page. There's a link below. And as I said, the game's already funded. It's due to finish on the 8th of April, and expected delivery is November this year. Ryan's working hard on the solo modes for 18 holes, and Chaos mode was only added last week at the request of the backers. Thanks for watching One Man and His Meeple playing 18 holes. Please like the video, and if you haven't already, then subscribe, and then follow the links to Board Game Geek and give us a thumb there too, as every click there gets us more exposure. You can also follow me on Twitter at One Man Meeple and Andy Beta. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, then please consider supporting me through Patreon, and there's a link for that in the description below. Thank you, and goodbye.